Well, at least I think Dwayne Johnson was pretty good in the movie.
I thought he had a rocky start.
Hey, we're doing Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Yes, Ryan Gosling's newest movie. The main reason I wanted to bring Cameron in on this movie,
because I know how to read,
is because he actually reads books.
I do read books.
Mm-hmm.
I've read a book in my life, maybe even 2.
Yes, wow. And this was one of them.
This was at least one of them.
Yes. For a long time, Cameron was telling me that I needed to read this book. And then Zach, our friend, read it. And I read
our friendship deepened and you were left out in the cold.
Basically. I think I read the first chapter.
How could you only read the first? I read the first chapter and I was like, well, now I got to finish it.
I am that guy that, like, if I'm reading a book and then there's a scene change or like it skips to somebody else's perspective or whatever, I'm like, that's a good place to stop. And then I never pick it up.
So this entire book, every chapter.
Yes, exactly.
Every chapter is a scene change.
Yes. So there's an element of the book that's like really good. And I think that if you guys haven't read the book yet and you actually want to before you see the movie, it's not a bad idea. What did you think in comparison to the movie if you had read it? You
mean if I had not read it?
No. I'm saying you have read it.
I have read it.
So do you think people should read it before seeing the movie?
Nah. The emotional beats would have probably hit better if you had not read it. Because the book honestly does the emotional beats way better.
I think I got the worst of both worlds because I didn't read it, but you told me everything about the plot. So I went in basically knowing everything that would happen. And as they happened, I was just like, oh, interesting. And then they kept going and I was just like, yeah, I guess that kind of hits all the beats that Cameron was crowing about. And so
crowing is a strong term.
What would be a better, you like with Martin Luther, like hammering like your treatise on my forehead.
Well,
like you just told me
that you can't say crowing and then say the things that were in the movie because that wasn't a one-to-one comparison. So that's not like Martin Luther isn't like walking up there being like, this is like what the movie should have been.
I'm telling you guys,
he's just being like, this is just what it is.
He was obsessed with this when he was reading it. He's just like, this is so good. It's so, yeah, exactly.
It was
like,
well written. It was
good.
well executed.
Yeah. As you were telling me about this movie, you know, the story
becoming a movie, becoming a phenomenon, becoming a 7 out of 10.
The more you talked about it, the more I was like, wow, Andy Weir is going to make a movie very soon about this book because everything
they were going to make the movie. They knew they were making the movie the moment he finished writing it.
Yes, because he didn't finish the book until 2021. That's when it was released. It was released on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. It was released in 2021. He got a deal for the movie in 2020. Mm-hmm. They already knew this was going to be a movie.
Yeah, no, the Martian had pretty much locked them in as a movie.
Yes.
Dude, they're even going to make Artemis, and like apparently no one liked Artemis. The 3 books that Andy Weir has published traditionally. I don't know. He's published a bunch of short stories and other stuff like on his blog and stuff. But the 3 big ones he's done are The Martian, which everyone considers to be a banger, and that's his like breakout. Like this is what he's known for.
Sure.
They did Artemis, which was about a girl. I think it's about a space station. I haven't read it. I want to read it, but everyone's like, this is his weakest one. This is like not good. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, if a director takes it and kind of does their own thing with it, it could be really good. And then Project Hail Mary was like, this is such a banger book. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to see it visually put to screen.
There are a lot of elements when reading the very little that I did that I was like, this would make it perfect. This is perfect.
It's visually, like, I think it translated very well to screen.
The main character's name is Ryland Grace, and they signed on Ryan Gosling, same initials, I think it was before the book came out.
I feel like you meant for that to hit harder than it did.
I'm just saying that when I was reading that, I was like, oh my God, I can see the code.
I thought he straight up was like the reason it happened. Like
it makes sense.
In part, it was because like he was attached to it and he wanted to play. Which is funny because in my mind, I always imagine like Bo Burnham, like a Bo Burnham type as Grace.
No, it's because you read it in 2021 and Inside had just come out and he did an entire thing about being alone in a box.
No. He's just a squirmy little dude in the book. He's like, he says he has like, he's surprised when he wakes up on the ship. He's like, has abs and stuff because the machine on the ship, that like robot has been like basically giving him calisthenics for 3 years.
Oh,
so he's been like to keep him alive. Like that's the way they managed to figure out this like cryo sleep thing where he's not actually cryo sleep. He's just like unconscious and the machine like works out his body for him. But at the same time, it's like not right. Like you're telling me Ryan Gosling can't find a date. Sure. That's like the crux of the story is like this guy has no attachments on Earth.
It kills me. It kills me how much Hollywood's like, Ryan Gosling, every man.
Yeah.
He just looks like a regular guy.
Ugly man who no one would ever fall for, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that gets no attention. Nobody's particularly interested in him or his life. He's not very charismatic.
What's the girl from She-Hulk where it's like, this girl could never find a match on Tinder, but a cardboard box would find a match on Tinder. Like, are you kidding me?
God, seriously. It's just really funny to me because the movie, like, there are several parts about like him and his adding to the character that I think he did take like a lot of, he really was like baked into this role. And I'm just like, it's really funny to think that like while he was writing the story, he was just like, so that's Ryan Gosling and this is exactly how it's going to go. And funny enough, in the book, did he have glasses? Did you know this at all?
I don't remember anything distinctly about glasses.
Because for some reason, I found this in my trivia lookup, that he was like talking and doing a bunch of stuff, and his kids were actually pretty involved in the process, which is kind of nice. And they literally like walked in and he was reading something and they're like, you would look smarter with glasses. And that's why he has glasses, is his daughter said like, yeah, you don't look smart right now. You should put on some glasses and look like a nerd a little bit. And I think it added well because that little thing where he hangs the glasses off his ear, that's like, you see some stuff in a movie that you're like, I've never seen this before, and I feel like an idiot that nobody else has like added this as a character like trait. It's immediately iconic. If you do a silhouette of a guy with the glasses like that, you'd be like, oh, this is the movie Project Hail Mary. Exactly. It's smart. I
don't remember anything like that in the book, just to be clear.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, that's the whole point of like movies, is you get to add cool
it's a visual
things
medium
like
where all the things you never thought about, suddenly you get to think about them.
Yes. So really quick, I want to add a little bit of spice with some of the behind the scenes like trivia.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson had to work very hard to fit into that suit.
They need a Pet Rock integration with this movie, I gotta say.
Yeah,
because I buy it. Yeah. So Lord and Miller are the directors of this movie. Did you know this?
I did not. Why would I know that?
Because it genuinely was really surprising. A lot
Actually,
of their humor,
to be fair, I did follow this movie so closely that I should have known that.
Fair enough. For us, before the movie started, it was like Dolby Cinemas and all that stuff. And then they had Lord and Miller say like, when you see the movie, you're going to see the movie.
Oh, that's
And it better be in Dolby.
For us, it was Ryan Gosling.
No, we had that too.
Ryan Gosling walked out.
Oh.
Real Ryan Gosling, the human man, walked out in front of us and said, hello, everyone. I'm also here to see the movie. Please don't make a big fuss about it.
Yeah, just I'll be in the front. I'll be in the very front seat, enjoying my popcorn. And you see the entire time he's on his phone.
He
and
was
like,
on
guys.
his phone. It was very frustrating because he was just on Twitter.
He's just like, what? I've already seen it.
Yeah, and
leave me alone.
Everyone kept trying to explain to him it's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X. He was like, I refuse to call it that.
Yep, that sounds like a Ryan Gosling thing to do. Ours did have the Lord and Miller saying their thing, and then it cut to Ryan Gosling, and he was sitting in a chair, and he's just like, thank you for coming to the movie. Hope you like it. And then it just cut away, and I was like, wow, he really could not be bothered.
I was disappointed Andy Weir wasn't one of the like people.
I don't know what he looks like. He might as well be a mangaka
He looks like
that
a
uses
dude.
like he just looks like
He just looks like a dude. You could have just had Ryan Gosling, but it had said Andy Weir in the bottom corner, and no one would have questioned it.
Everyman, you see.
Yeah, he's the everyman.
He could be anybody. So Lord and Miller are on this movie, but it's funny because Lord and Miller teamed up with Amy Pascal to do this, and this is the first time outside of like Sony and the Spider-Verse movies that they've worked with Amy Pascal. So like a lot of the people that worked on the Spider-Verse movies came over to do this movie, and you can feel it in some of the comedy, some of the visual metaphor and stuff like that. And I enjoyed that a lot. It really was charming. The whole movie was charming.
No, I have opinions about this. We'll get into it in the spoiler section.
Okay. And then additionally, the composer was also from the Spider-Verse movies. So many elements of this movie were from that entire production pipeline, which I find funny because I feel like Sony's just like, yeah, do whatever. And there's like, we got like a badass team, so we're just going to go to whatever other movie. Yeah,
because this is a Prime production for the most part.
It was MGM Amazon Studio.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised because we got to go see it early because we have Prime memberships. And by having a Prime membership, you were allowed to go to the early screenings. And there were very few people in our screening. Like, I don't know how many people knew that that was a thing you could do.
Oh, no, ours was very full.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yeah, it was fun looking around and being like, everyone in here is a giant nerd, including myself.
There were some people that were making like train jokes and stuff like that. And I was
train
like,
jokes
good for you guys.
Because they have train...
they have train interest. Yes, Cameron. Yes. Apparently the screenwriters for this movie were also the same that worked on The Martian. So there's a lot of this that was kind of the melding of two different production groups that worked on previous movies. So we have the Spider-Verse people and the Martian people coming together, making this thing. It was pretty good. I don't know how much else I want to go into before we get into spoilers, except for this one fact that the cinematographer was Greg Fraser. Do you remember Greg Fraser? He did Dune, Cameron. He did your favorite movie. He did Dune.
I don't see it. Well, I don't see how a guy who does beautiful, stunning landscapes of planets would make a beautiful, stunning landscape of a planet.
He had previous work with rocks.
That's true.
But
and sand.
Yes, and sand. I don't have it for you here. I wish I could show you, but they did a really cute.
Just him with like some sand.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, this is. I was made for this role. But they actually did a promotional poster that was La La Land, and it was him dancing.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
Rocky.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
So
Rocky
good.
was so funny.
It's so. I love it. I love it so much. A very weird pull considering how old that movie was, but oh my god, it was so.
It's a perfect pull.
Love it.
It's a perfect pull.
Just heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
The one other thing which I mean, I'm just so pissed because to prepare for this, I started watching some of the trailers. I don't watch trailers anymore. They spoil everything. But even though I knew about this movie from what you had told me, I still wanted to avoid it to get in. Like, I didn't even know what Rocky would look like, like going into the movie, even though he's in the trailers.
They described him as being way more spidery even before the book came out.
Yes,
which I thought was crazy.
That's interesting. But the puppeteer that did Rocky, his name is James Ortiz, and that's actually he was the head puppeteer.
Yeah,
he actually does the voice for Rocky, which I think is really cute. The only reason I bring that up is because apparently the entire time that he was talking to Rocky, because of course it's a rock. How do you endear yourself to a rock and you're Ryan Gosling? Is that they put an earpiece in his ear and all of the lines that Rocky was saying, they got his kids to do. So it's like really cute that like the entire time he's just like hanging out, like talking with his kids, and like it just seems really nice. And apparently there's like a couple of moments where he chuckles where it's just his kids like telling him jokes in his ear. It's like the cutest thing. It's
that's
so adorable.
Amazing.
Yeah. So his two daughters helped him with that.
Well, that's nice to know that he's a good dad.
Yeah. And when it comes to the whole thing about Rocky, and the reason why I said the head puppeteer, James Ortiz, is that Rocky, apparently, I don't know how much, was a physical puppet. Apparently, it was actually puppeteered in the entire. Of course, there were VFX behind.
I mean,
Rocky.
I bet, especially for the window scenes and stuff,
Sure.
It makes sense that he was a physical puppet because like that, he looks good.
Yeah,
he looks
great.
very good.
I'm curious if they did the fingers and everything puppeteered. Like, definitely the entire body moving around.
I mean, you don't see the fingers very often, or if you do see the fingers, it's usually holding something, so it probably didn't have to do a lot.
It's like a cutaway shot, something like that. Yeah. So I am in love with this movie. I had such a good time watching it. I really enjoyed it. I think everybody watching this would really enjoy it. It's a bit of a dad flick. It's something you could take your dad to, and they'd be like, "Oh wow, Ryan Gosling
not our
in space."
dad, but someone's
dad. A dad, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed my time with it, and there's a lot I want to talk about regarding some stuff that you had told me that feels different. But before we go into that, how did you feel about the movie?
7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10.
Above average.
Would I watch it again? Probably. Did I think it was as good as the book? No. Was it probably been more enjoyable had I not read the book, similar to how Dune Part 2 kind of went for me? Yeah. Fair. But then I enjoyed it in its own. See, this is the thing, is like Dune Part 2, when I watched it the first time, I remember thinking to my whole self, well, that's not how I wanted the book. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, masterpiece. Fantastic. I feel like the same thing would happen with Project Hail Mary, where like the first time I was like watching it and like nodding along and like liking parts of it. But there, like the thing that kind of got me was that there were emotional beats that are just done so much better in the book. But I'm pretty sure if I watched it again, I would just be locked in for the ride because now I know what to expect.
Sure. There's some stuff that happens in the movie that I just think the way you explained it from the books, and as well as Zach talked to me after seeing the movie, he was like, these just were better in the book.
Yeah, when I talked to him after this, we both literally, the whole conversation was me just going like, what do you think of the movie? 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10? 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Yeah. That's we just said that back and forth for like a full minute. We didn't even have to explain any of the scenes to each other.
Fair. The last two things that I want to say are that, yes, like we mentioned, The Martian, the previous book that was adapted from Andy Weir, it makes a lot of sense that they would want to immediately grab his newer book that could be adapted as it's being written, because The Martian, 2015, got nominated for 7 Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
And
gangbusters.
I genuinely think this is better. So I think that this might be nominated for just as many. It didn't win any.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like both movies, you have to change them based from the book, because both books are like in the guy's head a lot. So the fact that The Martian has so many logs, and similarly, because they gave him Rocky, he's talking a little more. He's like mugging off the guy.
Yeah.
Even though it is an alien.
Sure.
But they still give him like fun moments where he's like trying to like talk or like making these notes, because we do know he has to send all of these logs back to Earth to help with stuff.
Makes sense. And the reason I bring up the movies is because a certain person, now that I think about it, kind of cribbed off this now that I realize the timeline, which is that the book came out in 2021, and then another movie about a guy in space alone talking to a spider came out in 2024. Have you ever seen the movie Spaceman with Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler made a single person in space movie called Spaceman, in which a spider shows up in his pod and he has to like
just a normal sized spider.
No, sorry, it's a giant like human sized spider. I think it's technically like a heptapod. It has like 7 arms. It has like weirdly anthropomorphized features. The mouth is like a mouth. It's a whole thing. It's actually not a bad movie. Alan and I talked about it when we watched it. I think it might have been in 2024. And the more that I was thinking about this movie, the more I'm like, someone read that book and was like, we gotta be on it. We gotta make this.
Yeah.
And they just made a spider movie where a guy pals around with a spider in space and learns a bit about himself and how he should trust people. It's literally the same arc. I'm not even kidding. It's like believe in yourself in space. I'm just telling you.
Does he save humanity?
You'll see. We'll watch the movie.
I don't think I want to watch this.
It's really it's just funny to me because it's the most. It felt like the most original and art house thing that Adam Sandler had done in a while, outside of like Uncut Gems.
I was gonna say this is the sequel to Uncut Gems.
Yes, he runs away to space. But genuinely, like, there's an element that I'm just like, after going through, I'm like, it's not even original. He just stole it from this book. It feels like that. I'm not implying anything. Maybe I am. Anyway, ready?
Set.
Spoilers. The book. The thing that I love a lot is the fact that I don't know how well Andy Weir is at like describing like the things that he wants in a diagram. He can write it really well, it seems, but there's an element of like when you both you and Zach told me that there's like, yeah, in the book the ship's pretty like made of polygonal shapes.
Yeah, it is one big rod and then 3 rods underneath that rod.
And so, fun fact, trivia piece is that in the movie you see it. Did you notice that?
Yeah, the first like one of the like archaic designs of the ship is like the one directly from the book. Like when you open it, it looks like he sketched it. When you open the book, it looks like he's like, hey, we need you to draw the ship for the like people who are gonna read the book. He's like, sure. You just had a napkin.
It's so funny. I'll see if I can find a picture to put up right now. And when they're first introducing Ryan Gosling to the Hail Mary project, they point to a demonstration and it's the exact same image. And I'm like, this is fun. But that was an element that I remember Zach really was just like, that's not what the ship looks like in the book. I'm like, I'm glad, because the one in the book looks really silly. I think that they did a good job with like how the ship looks and like the geography of it.
So there was, funny enough, there was some drama when the ship design came out because, well, for one, it didn't look like the one in the book, so everyone got upset.
How dare they?
But the second one was Lego made a version of the Project Hail Mary you can buy.
That's cool.
There's a little model, and it has a little Ryan Gosling. But what was funny was, in order to do the spin gravity, first of all, like the cabling on it doesn't look long enough, even though it's like a very big ship.
Okay.
And then second, the ship model spins this like weird way. So like normally it's spinning this way. So like basically the entire ship rotates so that like one side of it becomes down as it's spinning.
Sure.
But that means that gravity is consistent across the entire ship. In the Lego model, because no one had seen the movie or how the spin gravity looked, it spun this way, which meant that gravity only worked in the middle and the 2 sides were just kind of like flung out against the wall. And it made no sense. And everyone was like, what is this dog crap that they've shoved in my hard science movie?
That's so interesting.
Like the Lego model was causing trouble.
In the book, they talk about like how it works.
Yeah, so they went out of their way. Like there's a whole big like chapter around why the spin gravity is important because of the because they like can't make the instruments work in 0G. It's easier for them to just give him some facsimile of gravity. And in the movie, it's like, we can't do that. Centrifuge is centrifuge.
Yeah. That opens up the conversation to the main thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is that, like you mentioned, okay, well, we only have certain instruments on Earth, so we need to make them work in space. So we're going to do a centrifuge. How much of this movie even goes into the way you describe the woman from the movie is that she is the end goal of all project managers. Wanted it.
Yes, she is. That's the thing. So there's like a million different places where this diverted from the book, and it was for better or worse. Like there are a lot of places where they cut stuff for runtime and it made a movie better. A few places where I wish they hadn't cut stuff, either out of personal preference or because it added to the movie. But the one place I think a lot of people agree that they probably should have left more stuff in or not changed as much is the character Strat, who she is the project manager lady of this entire thing, because her character she is just the ultimate hard ass. Like her entire job is literally our world, but it's on fire and about to be destroyed by like the sun going out. And so this one woman is trying to get all these different groups who do not want to work together to build the Hail Mary ship and send it to a distant star to find a solution to bring it back. And so she is just an absolute bastard in the coolest way possible. Like every time you've watched a like anime or like any sort of TV show where there's that one boss who like everyone's like, he's such a hard ass and no one likes him, and then they like walk into the courtroom, it's like, you might think that, but in actuality this loophole lets me do this and this. And then they're like, we can't let her do that. It's like, I already did it and this document proves. And there's like, that's her all the time, and it's so cool. And it's extra cool because of the moment when the climactic, like we can save it to talk about for later, but kind of like the climactic betrayal happens, because it makes you understand Strat's character so much better as being like, she is like a hard ass through and through, and like every time she's been like nice is like her trying her best, knowing full well that like she's always going to have to make this choice, this like bastard choice.
That is the one element that I really wanted to see a bit more, is the fact that she is being nice, but like of course she's like being, I think they just, from what you had told me,
she's calculating, she's not nice.
Yes, but the way that they did it is just like, oh, she just has no humor, she's a German. I'm like, guys, come on, let's actually like, I think there's more nuance there.
Because she's nothing like that in the book. She doesn't have this just like you could almost call it like that token European like placidity to her.
It reminded me of like when it says like, what if Akira Toriyama drew Naruto? Where it's like, here is that kind of character that needs to make hard decisions, but through the lens of like a Lord Miller doing like the Spider-Verse style character, where everything they do is like kind of funny and charming because it's kind of like a fish out of water. You can tell that they're not in their element, when in reality she is. Like that's the one thing that I was just like, what are we doing, guys?
In the book, there are like multiple times where like she has no like other people would have scruples of like, the only person who can do this is like the world's worst con man. Is like, then we will go get the world's worst con man to do it.
Yeah.
And so like having like that was one of my favorite scenes in the book that's not in the movie, and I completely understand why they cut it, because like there's a part where she like finds this guy who's like in jail for super embezzling and or something, and she's like, you're the only one smart enough to figure out how we're gonna make 2 million kilograms of like astrophage in time to launch the Hail Mary. How would you do it? And he's like, oh, simple, you would just do this and this, but you need a lot of space. And then they're like taking like 5, they think they're gonna have to like figure out where they're gonna do this, and then he like 5 seconds later is like, oh, the desert of I can't remember if it's like the Sahara Desert or something. Like it will destroy the climate, but he will be able to manufacture enough astrophage to do this in the desert. And like this absolute bastard characters, like I think only in like 2 or 3 chapters, but he's like probably my favorite character in the book. And he's also the perfect example of like how Strat operates, where it's like, we don't have time to be like picking apart every single problem. He knows the answer. It's not the best answer, but it's going to get the job done. So we're getting him out of jail to do this.
I think they were going for an angle, and I love that. See, that's what I was waiting for. And I think we're going to get more of that in like the 3 Body Problem show, because it feels like that one guy is trying to do in there. We'll get back to that, I guess. But when it comes to like this character, I feel like maybe when it came to like writing the movie, they're like, well, we want this whole thing to be more heartwarming. And when there is like a gut punch, it's still like with like a padded gloves, you know?
It wasn't even a padded glove. They just like stage punched them.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing.
What I'm trying to get at is just like everybody that's on that ship, like the aircraft carrier kind of thing. I think they were trying to build it up like, these are all the people that you like. And so you're kind of coming to grips with the fact that, spoilers, two of the people that they set off into space with are already dead by the time he wakes up. So you're like, oh wow, he really like, here are all these people that are endearing and we like and are sacrificing stuff. And at the end of the day, like, you need to be committed to that. Ryan Gosling, your character. So I think they were going for that angle. I just feel like there was so much more interesting stuff to be done with like the entire global socio-political way that you need to make saving humanity happen. You know,
and
like
that's the problem. Is the book had the time to do that. The movie did not.
Yeah.
Because if you read the book, there are like a dozen scenes where she like goes to like international court and basically tells off like 5 corporations and 12 governments who are trying to like sue her or get her to stop doing something because they don't feel like they're getting enough money out of this. Is like, well, it doesn't matter. You can't spend money if you're all dead. So shut the hell up.
Yes, this one was very kumbaya. Like, oh, everybody on the planet just come together, and I didn't even need to do anything. They all said that I could do it. It's like, guys, come on.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Is like, this is how she's acting. Is like after that conversation.
Sure.
But this is the thing that kind of ruins Strat the most. Is should we talk about like the betrayal part?
Yeah,
this is the big.
Sure.
Go ahead. This is ironically supposed to be like the crux, and in the book it really hits, and in the movie I felt like they're just this is just a goof.
Sure,
because that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is in the book, like Ryan Gosling and Strat have built up such a rapport, and or not Ryan Gosling, Grace and Strat have built.
I told you, very similar names. Yeah.
Have built up such a rapport that when Strat's basically like, all right, well, you're going, and he's like, no, I'm not, and she's like, yes, you are, and there's like a guy coming in to like this was more just to tell you this wasn't a choice. You're getting drugged and you're getting out of here. And it's just like this slow creeping dread of the fact that he's trapped in this room and he's just going to be drugged, and she's telling him the lies she's going to be telling people so that he's going to just like basically be like treated as a hero, shoved onto the ship, and then launched into space. And then in the movie, he literally runs out of the room. So now this is like this big song and dance of him running all the way to the perimeter gate before getting tackled. And then I liked Carl was there. I thought what they were going to do to give that same weight in the scene was going to be like the doctor comes in, and then when he runs to the other door, Carl was going to come in, and he's going to try and plead with Carl.
Sure.
And Carl's actually the one who pulls him down and just keeps saying reassuring things into
that
his
would have
ear
been pretty good.
As the doc issues. No. He runs all the way out, and there's like dozens and dozens of people watching him being a coward.
Yeah.
Which completely ruins like the emotion that like only the doctor, Strat, and like 2 other people ever know in the book that he did not completely like lock in to go to space.
That it really just annoyed me, because the entire time I was watching the movie, I'm just like, I know that somebody could watch this movie and figure that out. Like, there's no part of it that's just like, oh yeah, you know, there's an element in your mind where you're just like, oh well, maybe he considers to make that sacrifice. But it's way more interesting for both characters where he's like, I'm not going to make that sacrifice, and she's like, you don't have a choice. But the fact that like I really wanted that moment to be her just straight up being like, this is literally for humanity, and like, I don't need to plead with you. That's stupid for me to do. And I feel like, at least the way that Zach had described it to me after we saw the movie, was that like in the book, there was an element of like, yeah, you're going to be in, you know, a coma in space, but that's not what's going to wipe your memory. I'm giving you a drug that will make it so that you can't remember. Yeah, exactly. So you'll do the thing without even thinking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you're going to wake up and there's a specific like truth serum thingy that also makes you forget. But that's not even the worst part of what they did. That sequence, there is a part of it where Strat is like, he's pleading with Strat, and Strat's basically telling him is like, you get to go to space and save humanity. The moment you leave, it's over for me. Basically, everyone I've pissed off so far is going to come for my head. And if I'm lucky, I'll end up in jail if I don't get executed or something worse. So like, everything about it is her saying like, you are going to go and be a hero. If I am and then probably die a hero, I am going to be at best vilified.
The bill is due for me. You get to go avoid it.
Yeah.
That is the one element that I thought was like, they really hand wave that stuff away to make it like a very heartwarming movie.
Yeah, because then like you see her later on the freighter when the Beatles come down. They never show that part because the entire book is from Grace's perspective. So obviously they can't show that in the book, the part where like they recover the probes and save humanity, blah blah blah.
And that was the thing that like when you described it to me from the book, I'm like, this is so awesome. And the fact that they don't really show that the timeline of everything, that not only they have a certain amount of time to get the thing up in the air, so it doesn't matter how they're going to do it, but they got to do it. One example you told me that has stuck with me, that I'm like, this is such a cool thing to write into a book, is the fact that like people in NASA are like, well, we're going to code and create our own first party this or that, and they're like, no, you're not. You're going to Microsoft will make it, and they're like, well, no, they're going to make it worse. It's like, no, we're going to have a hotline in which they can fix it, and you are going to do the thing I need you to do. I don't give a shit if you want to build a whatever. We're going to have it off the shelf, and it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, we have someone to blame for it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yes, awesome. I love
all
that.
like they're like, that's exactly what I'm talking about when they said they need the centrifuge. It's like,
Yeah.
we're not going to reinvent a electron microscope that works in space. We're going to take an electron microscope that works on Earth and just put it in space in the centrifuge, so that works, because we don't have time to be reinventing the wheel.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so that, the fact that like it takes him however long to get there, so I think it was like 11 light years, so it should
it's
be
11 light years, but relativistically, because he's going near the speed of light, he speeds up to the speed of light and then slows back down. It becomes like 4 or 5 years. There's a travel time thingy.
Sure. So those elements, and so we don't really see the effect of the timeline on her until we show that it goes back to Earth and everything's really cold, and she specifically has some wrinkles on her.
We don't know where she is, though. She could just be near Greenland.
Exactly. And the part that just really gets me, that you told me about, that I'm like, this is so awesome, is the fact that like you said, it's from Ryland's perspective, that he's just like out in space and is like, I hope it got to Earth. I don't even know. I can only tell by measuring what happens to the
solar
sun.
emission of the Earth's sun.
That is such a cool thing. And they of course, like, I don't know, there's an element that like I'm like, I wish they just kind of worked that in there for him. But like at the end of the movie, I mean, they're trying to play it up that like now he's with his socially,
with his homie.
like, yeah, exactly, with his socially well-adjusted friend that taught him how to love. And now, you know, he's hanging out with his new friends and family, and like maybe he'll go back to Earth, you know. So there are parts of it that like it's fine. It's fine if you didn't show me such a great like storytelling method to say all these things, and then I'm just like, oh man, damn, I really would have loved to see any of that like kind of attempted, because in my opinion, I think they do a pretty bad job of showing you the timeline of not only how long the Hail Mary project took, how long it took him to get there. Like literally we were sitting in the theater doing the math ourselves to see how long it probably took him to get there.
So from that's the thing, is you have to think of it from several different standpoints if you want to be like the hard science jackass that this movie demands you to
Sure,
be.
yeah.
But from Earth's standpoint, it should be 10 years to get there, and then it was another 10 years for the beetle to get back, and then I think they say it's another like year or two for them to figure out how to get the whatevers to Venus so that it can put the things under control. So it's like 22 to 25 years round trip for them to solve this problem.
And that's like so good in the book to be like, yeah, I have to go in front of a tribunal in 25 to 30 years, maybe it works out, you know? And they only do like kind of lip service to that. But yeah, there are other ways, I think, that the space nerds can enjoy themselves. Because one that I thought was really cool, and was there anything else you want to talk about with that character before we move on?
Tons and tons, but like, I mean, the worst part was that stupid karaoke scene.
Yeah,
that was
like,
a nothing scene.
Yeah,
there were so many better scenes with Strat, and they took all those scenes out and then gave him. I don't know what this karaoke scene was supposed to do, other than be like, look, I can have fun too, but I'm not going to.
So they can get the rights to that song and they can use it in the movie for some reason. It was in the trailers. That's why I'm like, okay, well, I guess they use that. But I agree that it was like, oh, well, maybe she's trying to get along with the rest of the crew. And I'm like, dude, who cares?
That's literally the opposite of her character.
Yeah.
Her character is like, I never have to get along with anyone.
Why am I going to name the lobster at Red Lobster that I'm literally going to eat? Like, what are we talking about, you know? So there are parts of that I'm just like, I get it for that character because she's just not the same character.
Like, they do a perfect job of introducing her at the beginning where she's like, I don't need people I'm going to invite. I need people who want to fight to be on this mission.
Yes.
Like, that is exactly, when they introduce her, I was like, oh, yeah, we're here. And then that scene happens. I'm like, oh, no.
Sure. Exactly. Now, moving on to other characters. What'd you think about Rocky?
Exactly what I expected. Like, he
really?
It's pretty much like what you got from the book.
Cool.
Pretty much everything about him was the same.
What, like the legs and everything?
Oh no! Are you talking about how he visually was or how he behaved? Because he behaved
both technically.
How he
go with behavior first.
Yeah. I I expected him to be more like a flat pentagon with arms kind of like jutting out the sides. I didn't expect him to be so tall in the middle.
Okay, so
but
he was supposed to have 5 arms.
Yeah, he definitely has 5 arms. He's described as being kind of like a spider-like rock thing.
Okay.
And like pretty much like that's about. I mean, he doesn't have a face or anything. That's pretty much what you get. And he has like a little spot where he shoves his food.
That was fun. Man, you know, that's the thing about Lord and Miller. They can make anything a little charming.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like that is where you wanted the charm. You wanted this, because that's the entire point, is that like there's a good part of the first meeting Blip A in meeting Rocky where he's thinking to himself like, I don't want this to turn out bad, because otherwise I don't know how I'm going to deal with meeting aliens.
And there was, it's funny because Zach was even telling me that there's an element that like Rocky just understood Earth language better. And so it was more on Ryland to like understand the other way around and like be like, okay, here's the word for this. Let's write it down. But apparently there was like a keyboard or something.
So yeah, in the book, what happens is Rocky has, so you saw like he understands sound both for like seeing and hearing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So as a result, he can, and he has like their species is like very literal and very good at storing information. So it becomes very easy for him to pick up Earth language.
Okay.
Because of how it's structured. And then for whatever reason, it's similar enough to Iridian that when he's talking, it is like structured in a way that the ideas are shared easily enough.
Okay.
But what's happening is like basically in the book, Ryan Gosling's or Grace's character is got like an Excel spreadsheet or something where he's like capturing little like tonal noises that the guy's making and then punching in what they're supposed to mean based on how he translates them. And exactly what that is what's happening in the book, where he's kind of like taped together this like recorder to a laptop to another thing, so that every time Rocky talks, it will translate it into these words and he can look at the thing. I don't remember if there was a part where Rocky ever actually got a voice in the book. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
But it worked better for the movie.
I will say the way they did it was cinematic enough. I
think it worked really well. Great.
Yeah. And that like all the tones, I thought that was really fun. There was an element of like Ryan Gosling, come on, he's a second language speaker, don't be a dickhead and say like it's actually go time, not time go, you asshole. I'm like, come on, pal. So smarmy enough.
Yeah. And then of course everyone already knew like the amaze, the fist my bum, all that stuff.
Love it. It was cute. It was very cute. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know, it's so funny to me how much like that character is going to be really endearing for a while. The other thing that I thought was really interesting that like I got to it before Zach could even tell me is that when they were looking at the clocks, the different clocks, he's like, oh, there's 12 and whatever, that like you look at his clock and his clock is counting to 6, base 6, and he has 6 fingers on the 2 hands. So I'm like, oh, it's just like us with 10 fingers on 10. This is amazing. I was like, that's such a cool, like, I think it was done quick enough that you could like kind of make sense of it while you're watching it. But is that kind of how it's explained in the book?
Yeah, so there are long sections. Like they even have one about like, why do we think at the same speed? Like Rocky and Grace literally are always like coming up with like problems and solutions at roughly the same speed. And like they have a theory that it's because of gravity. Like technically gravity is heavier on Rocky's planet to the point where like when Grace at the end of the book is on their planet, he needs like a cane to walk around, even though they didn't show that in the movie.
Sure.
Like again, there was a bunch of science yada yada they left out, and I was like, that's fine.
I thought it was going to be like the hyperbolic time chamber, and he's going to be like a big
he was going to come out and he's going to look like what is it called? He's going to look like Ryan Reynolds at the end of that Free Guy movie.
Exactly. Yep. That, and I'm going to say for Rocky, that when he's talking, he's doing his whole language thing, you see all of his fingers. I did like the idea that like I was like, why does he have 5 legs? And I was like, oh, 3 of them like a chair, and then his 2 arms. That makes so much more sense than us stupid human beings.
Yes, we like stand like idiots.
Yeah, they could just kind of plop there forever. But also, and this really, I was like, okay, I'm pissed off. They didn't lampshade this. They didn't say, look at this. Isn't this cool? They didn't even have a single moment. It must be in the director's cut. That the whole point of why he's ridiculed on Earth is that he wrote a thing about why you don't need water to be a life form in the universe, and Rocky is that, and they don't talk about it. So he doesn't bring it up. I was so pissed.
In the book, if I recall, because I talked to Zach about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, the astrophage is water-based.
Yeah. Which was a great
Rocky
scene.
is
Love
technically also water-based. He also dogs on him because if I recall, his
that would have been a fun scene.
Larger structure is mineral-based, but then he has like an inner organic structure that does the digestion, and that is water-based.
Oh, okay.
Because like whatever he eats is not like actual like crystals and stuff. He like eats some sort of like nutrient thing that like he puts it in and eats it and digests it, and then it like plops out.
That's even better. That's what you just told me is even better, that they didn't put it in the damn movie. Like,
I know, it's like he got wrong twice.
Yeah, like that would have been just, if you, I know the movie's like over 2 hours.
Someone please look this up. Feel free to put me on blast in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. And it's like double funny in the book because he was like, he wrote the like, all of you scientists are dumb, and then God is like, actually you're the dumb one.
Love it. Love that. Yeah, I would have really enjoyed that scene. I'm pissed it didn't happen. You've talked about the astrophages, so I think we should bring that up. What did you think about how they handled that in the movie? Like,
yeah, they super yada-yada'd over how the astrophage actually worked. And again, a good example, like we did not need to get into this.
Fair. Because I think they like, it makes a lot of sense. And I think it was like such a cool mechanism to be like, they're also kind of fuel, so you can just send them out into the universe.
This is the thing that I actually found really frustrating about the book is like, yeah, I know the astrophage is eating the sun, but did you guys forget the part where you created the ultimate power source? Because I'm not gonna lie, in the book, the Hail Mary is powered by astrophage, not just the engines, the electronics.
Oh, all of it.
All of it is. There are these little spin generators inside the Hail Mary that the way they work is just a little bit of astrophage gets on it and just spins a little turbine.
Well, isn't that what they kind of showed, the triangle thing?
Those triangle things are the engines. What happens is they're meant to directionally push the Hail Mary with a hilarious amount of thrust in whatever direction it wants.
Sure.
But they're like these tiny little motors that are meant to generate electricity inside the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And what happens is like at the scene where Ryan Gosling has to vent the entire ship because he finds out that the what's it called got into
like it's eating the
the predator phage has gotten in and is eating the astrophage. Yeah, that's like he opens up one of the spin drive generators and sees it's full of this brown goop that was supposed to be astrophage that has been digested.
Okay.
And it's like, what annoys me is like, what you have told me is Earth now has one of the most insane power resources, renewable power resources on the planet that can power all the greenhouses and heating systems we could ever hope for. So you're telling me that like realistically, we don't actually have that big of a problem when it comes to energy.
We just got to sacrifice the sun and all the plants and everything.
No,
whatever.
It doesn't. It's like this one thing that I find really funny because like, yeah, the Earth will cool a little bit, but it's like not even. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not even ice age levels of cooling, and it's also like there's like so many like elements to it. It's like, yes, humans will die if we don't cooperate. But also, you guys invented a fuel that's better than actual fuel.
Damn. Good point.
Because that's the other thing is like they make 2 million kilograms of astrophage in like however much time. They can keep making. They didn't stop being able to make astrophage after they launched the Hail Mary. They're still making the stuff.
I'm curious if that. I don't know.
Like that's the thing is like the thing that I found annoying about the book is the fact that you don't get to hear anything else about what's happening on Earth after Grace leaves. And there's 20 years of interesting stuff. Like you have introduced this new fuel resource. What is happening? Like they nuke the Antarctic to release a ton of methane to give them like an extra 10 years of the Earth not cooling too quickly.
They global warm so that they could global cool.
They global warm to fight the global cooling. Yeah, they nuclear winter to fight the
it's literally Futurama.
Yeah, they did a nuclear winter to fight the global warming.
Yes, perfect. Well, that honestly brings up the fact that from the little of the book that I read, I was like, this is going to be the most cinematic thing you've ever seen, because the whole damn point of the fact that like he wakes up and he can't like remember anything. And so the only ways in the book that he remembers things is that he sees something and the thing jogs his memory of something else. And the first one that I remember is that they pull a wire out of his butt and there's a stream of blood, and the stream of blood reminds him of something on Earth. And
it was
so
the Petrova line, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, there you go. So the fact that there's very minimal jump cuts in this movie made me want to throw my chair, and I was in a reclining seat. Like, I was like, are you kidding? This is the
Dude, that
one
would drive
thing.
you friggin' nuts
Dude.
if every 5 minutes it was jumping back and forth between then and now. Because you wouldn't have time to like learn anything.
It's less about that, and it's more about the fact of this element that both Zach and I were thinking of, the fact that like there is an element of uncertainty in this movie. If you've ever seen the movie Arrival, it does a really good job of showing you that like some of the things that you're seeing as a jump cut or as a flashback, you can't completely trust, and it's super cool. This movie made me feel like you couldn't completely trust the fact that he had amnesia, that maybe he already knew everything after like maybe a week or two in space, and that we as the audience are just seeing it happen and him just thinking about it. Because that made the betrayal at the end not as impactful. It made me think that he already thought about the betrayal way earlier and had already accepted it, and he's just like, whatever. It would have been way better, in my opinion, for it to be a very blatant thing that every time we switch back to a flashback, it's like, here's an image.
To maintain the linearity.
Yes, because at the very end, and this is another thing that Zach told me, is that apparently like there's an entire series of like messages he sends back to Earth of him deliberately remembering and being like, you son of a bitch, you sent me to my death, I hate you so much. But I guess I kind of did it. Oh, well, whatever. So there is an element of him like kind of getting over that you don't get in the movie, I don't feel. And I think that would have been so good. It would have been a good resolution to his relationship with her too.
Yeah.
But in the movie, that doesn't feel that way. It feels like he's just kind of out in space, and that the way that they filmed it was like he's not really going through an arc in space, really.
It's even worse than that, because the other annoying part is like, I swear in the book, I don't remember for sure if this line is there, but like basically it's something to the effect of like, he leaves Earth, not having the courage to save one planet. And then when he turns around to save Rocky, he's now the person who has the courage to save 2 planets.
That's
the point. Yeah. Is he goes from this guy who literally didn't have the strength to get on a starship to go save these people, to save all of humanity when they needed him most. And now he's giving up his chance to go home, even though technically at that point, he's still like, these people kind of sentenced me to die. I'm not sure how much I want to go home.
Fair enough.
To go back and save his homie, knowing full well he's not just saving Rocky, he's saving all the Iridians as well.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, because Rocky didn't send out.
Yeah,
probes.
if Rocky can't get home, he can't bring the astrophage predator thing with him, and the Iridians. It's a little less serious because the Iridians technically have more time than the humans did. Because the way their atmosphere and their planet works, but still, like, if Rocky doesn't make it home, then they're probably not going to survive.
In the long term, exactly. And of course, I'm gonna say there were some match cuts, but they weren't particularly good. I've seen a good ass match cut. There's plenty of examples. What the hell's wrong with you? But what you just mentioned brings me to kind of the example that like I don't think they did a great job of kind of showing his arc about like him becoming brave. Like they said, is like, well, you're brave. This is only, I don't know if anybody else is going to understand what I'm about to say. But like I said, I saw that movie, The Spaceman with Adam Sandler, and I was like, that's very similar.
You were very brave for watching that.
I really was. But also the fact that, have you finished the Evangelion series? Like the movies and everything?
All of it, yes.
There's a part in one of the movies where Shinji reconnects with old friends. And I feel like this movie was exactly that. Because Rocky has a way worse, like, arc to him. He went into space, a brave hero, like, you know, Ryan Gosling is supposed to be, watched 23 of his friends die, and has someone that he loves back at home and an entire society he cares about, he's willing to sacrifice for. And when Ryan Gosling is just like, yeah, I guess I kind of hate that somebody put me out here in this position, Rocky's like, wow, I guess that is kind of hard. I have empathy for you, random dickhead that like I technically don't know and have very little connection to compared to my entire planet. So it reminded me of that moment that like in the movie, which it's so good that you please go watch all of Evangelion, where Shinji's gone through all of this stuff. He's kind of a total dickhead, as he has been the whole show. And he reconnects with all of his friends that like have had full lives outside of the show that are just like, huh, that really sucks for you. Come vibe with me in our town. And it just feels like people that have had probably a worse life, or at least like a life that has been far more like filled with struggles that they've overcome.
Yeah.
That are just like, yeah, I've been there, pal. Let's chill out. And I felt like that was exactly Ryan Gosling's character, is that he was Shinji, get in the goddamn robot, you dickhead. And he's like, I don't wanna. And then circumstances put him in the damn robot. And then he finally meets someone that's a well-adjusted, like, not human being, but, you know, alien.
Well-adjusted rock Spider-Man.
Yes, being of some sort that just straight up is just like, you know what? Let's get you on the right path, pal. I'll be your coach. And we'll just chill out and we'll have a good time. Life's not that serious from The Rock. And what I'm trying to say with all that is that I really love that Evangelion movie. So this felt like another way in which, if you're reading it that same way, it feels like it. It feels like someone learning how to self-actualize through the form of like a grand adventure and meeting a completely different entity that's just like, yeah, life's kind of chill, pal. If we just like mess around and, you know, have some fun. You can make all the substitute teacher jokes you want, but at the end of the day, what's happening in here is more important. And I'm like, you know what? Gosh, what a good movie. So any thoughts on anything I just said?
Yeah, I will say, like, I think the way the movie ended actually did a better job for me in terms of closure. Because
really?
Yeah, that was the funniest part to me.
What
was
the
like,
hell?
Because in the book, it ends with he winds up on the Iridian planet. He goes and he's basically like having like you can almost think of it, the way I imagined it was like you know those like phone call booths that they have in prisons so you can talk to your loved one. He's kind of like doing that with Rocky.
Okay.
And then he is, because like they have the big dome that he's in, and like that is
so
like,
they do have a big dome.
yeah,
It's
they have
similar.
a big dome that he's in, and it's like got like some sort of shelter in it that he sleeps in, and they used the food on the Hail Mary to derive like human edible foods for him. And he's basically like been living there, teaching them about like human science, and he also teaches that class to little Iridians who want to go to that class,
Which
I
was
guess.
very heartwarming. Love that.
Yeah, so that does happen, but it feels very cold, and like there's just like a little bit of a what's it called, the shoot, what am I looking for here? Like basically it doesn't feel like there's as much of a like, oh, we're homies and we kind of like are vibing. It feels very much like he's just kind of stuck in here, and even though he's getting good news that like Earth's sun is fixed and things are happening, it just feels like he's kind of stuck here and he's okay with it.
Okay.
Whereas in the movie, it's very much like, oh, Rocky comes and hangs out with him, and they built him a beach.
Yeah.
And they built like, because that's the other thing, is that room where like he can see like all the like images of Earth and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That isn't in the book.
Oh, okay.
Nothing like that, if I recall, is in the book. So that was, I think, a really nice touch to give it like a bit of this. Oh, this is what things are like.
He teaches him about Rocky and Adrian, which was
very
very cute.
Which was very cute. And so that was very cool in that. So it's like very much like he's bringing this part of his home to their planet, and Rocky actually comes in and is hanging out with him, and they're having a bit more of a rapport. And it feels less like he's just kind of like stuck in this bubble by himself, and more like he actually gets to interact with Rocky and do things and be in there, like existing in a way he's comfortable with. And the best part in particular was like, hey, we finished fixing your ship. You can go home whenever you want. I was like, what if I don't want to go home? It was like, yeah, you should think about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I did like the fact that like they build exactly the way you would picture in any other writing, like an alien human relationship or vice versa. Because like think of Rocky in the opposite way. If he was a human, he's like, I met this crazy alien. The alien has like a weird way of doing stuff, and they taught me how to do this thing called a hug. What the hell? And so later on, like I like the way that the movie builds that like they have the ball that he can roll around, and it's way more cinematic, of course. They talk about how he needs to sit on his chest to protect him when he sleeps. And then later on, like they actually go through like this three-act structure arc of him learning how to hug, which was nice. So there are elements of that like, it's really funny because like there were things that you had told me that I was like, I actually don't know where this goes. Like I didn't know if Rocky would die, considering they try to like death flag him 5 times.
Yeah, someone was it you? Someone said they like left the movie theater. It's like, surely Rocky is dead by now. Oh, Zach. He's like, I left the theater. He's like, this is the 4th time I said Rocky's died in this movie.
Well, what he told me is that he told his wife that Rocky dies or something.
Yeah.
And then so she was just like, oh, he does die. And then every time that it death flagged him, she's just like, why isn't he dead yet?
Yeah, because he just keeps dying. But there's like, especially the one scene with the centrifuge, and I thought that scene was done very well. But like, that's also one of those places where they diverged, and there's a little bit of I get why they diverged for like movie pacing, but also I kind of wish they hadn't. Where like Rocky's unconscious and he's like back in the thing, and like he's not waking up.
Yeah.
And
there's a little heat lamp, like he's a lizard.
There's like a whole subplot of like Grace trying to help him and kind of fucking it up, because if you'll notice after that, there's a silver goop on him. That's like his body scabbing over.
Oh.
And what happens is Grace in the book thinks that silver goop is actually like oxidation that's making it hard for him to breathe.
Oh, no.
So he makes this like little compressor contraption that is designed to like blow it off. And when Rocky comes to, he's like, what the fuck did you do that for?
That's
bad. That was me healing. But then they go on the like making the Xena whatever.
Yeah, the little containers.
Yeah, they make the containers and they do it. And that also gives you the time to understand why the little predator phages are able to break out of the containers and why that becomes plot relevant. They yada yada over that so fast that it's easy for you to like completely miss, like, wait, why was the ship, why was Rocky's ship in danger? I'm not sure if I understood that.
There were plenty of times that Zach was telling me that he's just like, in the book, it's so cool that they give you, and I think at the beginning of the movie, they give you a lot of 2 + 2. And they're like, give me 4, tell me 4 back.
There's so much 2 + 2. Yeah, and it's not just that. It's 2 + 2 where they give you like the best thing about Project Hail Mary, and I think Andy Weir's writing, is he never makes it feel like Grace is actually that special.
Okay.
Grace is not a particularly special human. He just happens to be the human that is the most educated on this topic. Because this is the big thing. Dubois and the other science person.
Yeah, Lau, I think it was.
Lau is
the one that dies on Earth.
The actual. So the ship has a mission commander, the science officer, and I forgot who the
He's
other.
like an engineer.
Yeah,
I think,
engineer.
Or something. Yeah.
And the science officer, or the mission commander and the engineer, are the 2 people who are dead at the beginning of the movie in the pods. But in the book, on Earth, there's Dubois and the other person are these 2 science officers who are supposed to go on the Hail Mary, one and their backup. And it's nice because in the book, you have, first of all, the worst writing I've ever seen about 2 characters being intimately related. It's like, sorry, we're late. We were doing the sex.
Wow.
And while we were doing the sex, that we lost track of time. And after this, we're probably going to go do more of the sex. Like,
good for all these sci-fi writers being like, let me just write that they have sex. I don't need to
write incredible high concept sci-fi, could not write an intimate relationship to literally save their lives.
I mean, it's just so funny how much like on the complete opposite end is all of the romanticy stuff that is no science, all sex.
Yeah, but could not write a coherent world building to save their lives.
Exactly.
So what happens is
it's a spectrum.
Yeah, but what happens is like they're astronauts who have to learn about the astrophage. He just happens to know the most about the astrophage because he's been researching it. So it's like any human who had spent enough time learning about the astrophage could do what he's doing. He just happens to be the best suited for it. And the like little mistake, I guess there were different interpretations of it. I didn't catch it like this. I just caught it as like they make it very clear early on in the book and the movie that a little bit of astrophage is a nuclear amount of a nuclear bomb amount of astrophage. Yeah. And so the fact that they had in the book they're going to test an edge case. They don't explain it super well in the movie. And when they test this spin drive edge case, that's what causes the atomic explosion looking thing that kills both of them. Because up until that point, what's it called? Strat hadn't instituted any sort of like protocol that said like you and your backup probably shouldn't be in the same place at the same time.
Well, that was what I was just about to mention, that is an element that like, this is going to be really morbid, but apparently they saw in like World War I is that when they were recruiting people for the war, they would just take a bunch of people from one village, put them in a platoon together because they're like, well, they work well together. And then if one person died, everyone else's morale would be hit so bad that it was awful. And then I think in World War II, they were like, we're going to pick people, sporadically so they don't know each other. That's such a silly thing to be like, let's have this couple and then they'll go do
Well, they weren't a couple before this. They became a couple during, they don't even become a couple. They're just like well, we're gonna hook up until one of us goes to die horribly on this mission.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But the entire point of that sequence, even though it's horribly written in terms of relationships, is to emphasize like Grace is they are both extremely good astronauts and scientists who need to learn about astrophage.
Sure.
Grace is an astrophage expert who needs to learn how to be an astronaut.
Sure.
And because they both die, now it's very clear, like, oh, up until now, we've established Grace is literally the guy teaching the people on the mission about astrophage. So he is the ideal idiot to send to space. But the beauty of it is, at no point is he the guy who built the Hail Mary, or the guy who knows all the stuff about the betrothal line, or the guy who knows all the stuff about the equipment, or the guy who's going to be like there's so many layers to the fact that this is a human oriented mission where all of humanity is coming together and all of humanity is going to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I think the movie still did a good job of doing that within reason. And that's why Rocky is so important, because Rocky then becomes this like it's crossing of like planetary species, but it's also like Rocky has to fill in the engineering
good point
role that was supposed to be filled in by the other two characters who died on the way to the planet.
And everything that Rocky does is so cute. Like
Yes.
when he's like following him around, like he's trying to like do evasive maneuvers, and he just like goes literally exactly at this exact same pace, because he's like, I know what I'm doing. Like this isn't.
Dude,
I'm far better for this role than you are.
There's so many stupid, funny things that are like they describe it a little bit in a book, and then you don't think about what it's gonna look like in a movie. And then you see in the movie, you're like, yeah, I guess that is what that looks like. It was when they're celebrating that they found the Predator things, and they're like on the in that little like room where you can see the fireworks and stuff, and Rocky's wearing his celebration outfit, which is just like all those metal tassels and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, I guess that is what his celebration outfit looks like, just a bunch of annoying little strips of metal.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah, and the way that they did his whole echolocation thing was really cool. There's a lot in this that's great. We haven't even talked about like that climactic moment where they're going to get the life form on the planet.
Yeah, with the 5 kilometer chain and all that jazz.
Yes, which was like so pulse pouting.
Your
but I mean,
one crochet friend who just spends way too much time.
But I mean, that's the thing that you just can't really explain. It's just done really well. You can explain it, but I mean, like, it's just great in the movie. Go watch the movie. But I gotta say, in conclusion, in my opinion, is just that I think the movie would have been way better. I would have had a far better cathartic moment if they did the match cuts so you could tell that he was remembering things, and that was led up to the reveal that she betrayed him, and they did it in a really bastardy way where like as soon as he says, he's just like, well, who are we gonna get to do it? And then they all look at him and he's like, well, I'm not an astronaut. And even do the whole bit where he's like, I put the not an astronaut, blah blah blah, and then she literally go like restrain him, and then like she visits him in like his quarters where he's being held captive, and then just say exactly what you said, is just like, hey, we've gone through a lot. You're not going to screw this up. I'm going to inject you with blah, 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 blah. And Carl's going to do it. And you're going to feel betrayed. I think that all would have been really good. Yeah.
I really want every scene with Strat to her being a hard ass who's also very endearing to Grace, to the point where they have like a very tight rapport where he really just doesn't feel like she could ever do anything that he would make him think less of her.
Sure.
Just so then you get just the one brutal scene where she is just absolutely betraying him, being like, you just don't get it.
Yep.
We're not here. I'm not here asking. I'm here telling.
It would have been so good. Like, it sends chills down my spine thinking of the scene that it could have been.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to say about the movie?
I think, like, again, the visuals looked great. I thought the act. I mean, that was the annoying thing. Is like, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
like if I hadn't read the book, it would have been a fantastic movie. Having read the book, it's still a really good movie. I imagine if I go see it tomorrow, it will be a fantastic movie. It's just one of those, God damn it, why did I have to read the book and get so hyped for this? Because that's the other part. The Project Hail Mary subreddit was just like every day a new piece of information came out and everyone exploded about it. I remember them making too many jokes because there's like a catheter scene early in the book when he's like still getting himself out of the like suspended animation crap, and they're like, what is that gonna look like in the movie? Are they gonna
well, I completely skip over it. Literally, this is going to sound so stupid, but he's walking around the ship in his thing, and I see the wire hanging out of his butt, and I'm like, that's the blood wire. He's going to pull it out, and we're going to do the whole thing. And they didn't. I was like,
I wanted my butt blood wire.
Literally, he puts on a jacket with the thing on, and I can see the wire, and I'm like, they're literally doing
so
it.
Uncomfortable.
They're setting it up for me, and then it didn't happen. Yeah, and everything that you had mentioned about like how they could have done Strat better. I think the movie, of course, this is the most optimistic apocalypse movie I think I've ever seen, where they're like, all humans are going to work together. We're all in it together, and you better get on board, or else somebody's going to drug you and put you on a ship. And it's all heartwarming. By going through this entire perilous journey, he has come back changed, as well as saved 2 planets, like you said. And there's very little that they do in the movie to make you feel bad about any part of it. I'm going to be honest. It's really just them going through the motions, which reminds me a lot of that quote from The Martian, where he says, when you go into space and you do enough of the you do enough of the solve enough problems, you get to come home.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was like that in a completely different perspective.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like the movie would have felt more dramatic if you got to see more of Earth falling apart, which is something I thought they were going to get to do. Like, because the book is entirely from Grace's perspective, you don't get to see that. But because it's a movie, you can do more of those like in the moment cutaways to Earth after like you sent it back, where like you're seeing like things are going bad and then something good happens or something like that. But overall, like, because it's everything up until the bad things are supposed to start happening and then the good things are starting to happen, it's like, yeah, it is very hopeful. It's like you understand the stakes, you understand him coming through, you understand he shouldn't die, but at no point do you particularly feel like he's going to die. It's just because the real stakes and value are just the fact that Rocky's there and you don't know what's going to happen to him or his planet. That's where the like real weight of the story comes from, because you're like, it's like the POV character's not gonna die.
I couldn't care what happens to Ryan Gosling, but that rock, I give a shit about that rock. God, when they reconnected, and God, they keep death flagging the damn guy. Literally, he knocks on the little window and he comes up, and I'm just like the entire time waiting, like, is Rocky gonna be dead? He better show up. Oh my God, even though I already know the ending, you told me the ending. And so
no, they killed him in the movie, and Adrian shows up, is like, now we are married.
I almost teared up when he's cutting the like kind of tube hallway where they're like separating. I'm like, no, go hang out with Rocky.
I didn't even understand why they had to do that. They didn't have to do it before.
Yeah, God.
You could just left the damn thing.
But yep, on that note, I only have one thing left to say. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
The last thing I gotta say is Adrian. Could have been a contender.
Nope, get out, dude. We're done. We're done. No.
Okay.
Amaze. Bump my fist. Fist my bump.